Alright guys, we are back here at Champion of New Maelstrom, and we are in round number 2. We have a match between dISSENT, and I'll be honest, I forgot the other team. We're gonna hop right over the draft. It's Team ORZ, Team ORZ. So many new teams here that I'm actually not familiar with, which is awesome, and I'm excited to see the way they play. We have the draft here for game number 1. This is going to be a best of 5 series. And after this, we have at least one more game. We have a game between Team No Limit, again, the Korean team, the Korean powerhouse, right, from what we can tell, versus Symbiote Gaming, the champions of the Western world right now. By far the winningest most team that we have here.
Yeah.
Well, we get the first bands here. We have, again, Tychus, Stitches, but rather than talk about each band individually, let's look at the full-fledged rosters that we can see here on the screen.
I would say, if I were to look at this just straight up, I would give the advantage to ORZ. It's standard, and everything works together. Like, you can root into Judgment into Howling Blast. Oh, root into Judgment, root, yeah, you can do that. Or you can Judgment into root into Howling Blast. Like, 3 of the characters at minimum CC together, and it just combos on. Then you can have Shock and Awe come on top of it, or you can have a VP to set it up. So there's a lot of synergy on ORZ, and they have a lot of mobility around the map, a lot of just general engaging capability that's really nice. Meanwhile, dISSENT, while their lineup is pretty strong, it's got a lot of damage in it, it's got a lot of CC as well. It doesn't chain necessarily as well. They're more melee heavy for CC than they are range, so that's an issue that they'll probably have to try to get over if they want to win this first game. But if I had to vote on anything, it would probably be ORZ, just because of how flexible their composition is.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like a powerhouse of a team, and like you said, VP, Twilight Dream, there's a lot of really cool things they can do that synergize really well together. But without further delay, we're just going to hop right on into the game here as it is ready to rock and roll. And bam, well, we can see that we have Team ORZ as the blue team here on the left side of the map, and dISSENT will be on the right side. Now, to our knowledge, this is a Chinese team. Or they're an Asian team at the very least. We don't know the locations of every team because I believe there are players from relatively scattered around Asia, which is really cool. And we have dISSENT, which is a North American team.
What do we? Been Rainer Band instead. On the overlay it said Tychus, but they also picked Tychus, so it must have been a Rainer Band.
Ah, I see. Probably a mistake on my side there. Sorry about that, guys. Well, we can see the talents. We have 1 bribe on each team, Brightwing and Falsehead, pretty common stuff. Malf is holding on. He's going to go with Scouting Drone instead. Now, oftentimes you see Malf go for the Globe talent there to get the additional mana regen, and immediately they're just falling on Faker Fangirl and just doing what they can. But will they trade? They will, in fact, trade the tower.
Might die? Nope,
oh,
good.
Man, that was really hyper-aggression. Right off the bat, we're going to see the immediate fly up before the creeps meet each other in the lane. And already, this game is just going to be, I'm going to say Slobberknocker again. Slobberknocker. Yeah, it's such a good word. Oh, it's such a good word. Well, everyone's just kind of posturing. You know, that was obviously hyper-aggression. They just ran into the brush there right off the bat. And we see a nice route coming down here, but GoMax needs to make sure he's safe as there are. It's 3-on-3 here in the bottom lane, but there's a lot of sustainability. Brightwing, Uther actually getting a lot of damage. The root goes down on Jexia, but looks like they will be able to live. Oh! Nope, not going to be enough. Not going to be enough for the Death Coil, but it was a good effort. A good effort there! Caterpillar, again, my favorite name in the Heroes of the Storm community. I have determined it's again, if someone could illustrate a caterpillar, I would be forever grateful. Just here in the middle lane with empty, not an empty lane, just empty in the lane. And Insider gonna be backing up, probably tap his well as he is quite low. Yep, he's gonna be tapping his well right there. We see the Giants are being taken here in favor of Team ORZ, and they're quite low. Not going to be. Oh, they do manage to get the kill. The Hungering Arrow just barely reaching and securing a kill in favor of dISSENT.
Yeah, I mean they're putting a lot of pressure on the map. We do see. Oh, actually, I thought they were gonna just float all 4 down bottom, but they ended up actually going half and half. Putting 1 person at bottom, going in on GoMax, and they go ahead and do a lot of damage to him, but they'll be able to walk away.
Yeah, nice route to zone just to be safe. And Faker Fangirl actually just kind of walks to the end of it, but it's not a big deal. This Arthas will be chasing, but it won't be enough as the Brightwing is, of course, ready for action. And a nice early Dragonite here on Caterpillar in favor of dISSENT. Now, early Dragonite, not a massive health pool, but you can really get a lot done with it if you use it carefully.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to just pressure, just general pressure. It's free damage that you normally wouldn't get. It's free survivability that you wouldn't have when you normally push. But right wing on bottom, Blue Fox gonna get into a pretty scary situation. Will not get locked up.
Oh my gosh!
Almost.
Oh my gosh, that was so. It was well done. It was a good attempt at the pick. But meanwhile, this Dragon Knight is continuing to smack away. But you can see they're not all floating to the mid. They're gonna try to get a gank. And now that Dragon Knight is down to 8 seconds, they're realizing, all right, maybe we can get a gank out of it. But the disengage is real with the kick. They don't decide to pursue any further. And that was well done by Team ORZ because they continued to soak all 3 lanes, and they actually almost got the gank on Brightwing, forcing Brightwing back. Now Brightwing, of course, can just use the Hearth and then use her Z to phase shift back onto any player on her team. So it's not a big inconvenience for her, but we're going to see the rotate down here to these Giants. Going to go for the Giants, but looks like Empty wants to scout it out. He can see that Uther is in fact there, just throwing his sword for the extra vision. And he will definitely not be leaping on in there because that would be a suicide trip. We see Caterpillar is just kind of getting eyes on Gemini here in the top lane and might try to make something happen. Nice, just blowing his cooldowns, getting as much damage down as he can, but he will not be able to kill. No way.
Yeah, I mean, actually, look at that bottom. A lot of fighting going down there. Okay, I lied. Never mind. Just
a little disengage, a soft disengage. Playing it safe. We got the Giants here. They're going to be pushing in the bottom lane. We can hear the bribe stacks are being collected. We'll probably see a couple team members rotate to their Knights and use a few bribe stacks on there, as all the Giants are currently on cooldown. And you want to make sure you maximize your bribe stacks and not because it does have a maximum cap of 50.
Yes. So you can use 40 total stacks at once because it takes 20 to do each one. So if you cap, you want to use at least one somewhere, do something with it, and then start restacking usually, just so that you don't waste minion stacks. But it'll be alright. It looks like we're going to be getting some Knights here for the red side, which is dISSENt. And that'll be a nice little push up top as well with Vala, so she'll be able to put a decent amount of pressure down into the lane. It looks like... Okay, I thought I was thinking that ORZ might go for Knights, but I was like, you know what? If you do that, you're kind of just semi-falling behind. So let's.
Caterpillar could get caught out of position here. He's got his vault ready, but it's not going to be enough. Yes, the blink comes out for Zeratul and Brightwing. If they waited and Brightwing came in there, Brightwing would have fallen as well, honestly. Oh, yeah. So that was actually a really scary play by the Brightwing. Now saying, look, I need to save my teammate. You can no longer cancel phase shift once it's cast. In previous versions of the game, you could actually stop channeling it if you saw it was a bad scenario, a bad situation.
No.
Yeah, like, oh gosh, I don't actually want to go into that. But you can no longer channel. Once you're casting it, it's committed unless the target does, in fact, die, like we saw there. Now, Jexia going to get a nice shadow charge to force the Zeratul player back here. And the bottom shrine is going in favor of dISSENt here. Now, actually, excuse me, Gomax and Gemini are actually just going to be wrecking Faker Fangirl's face. He doesn't want to stick around here, but he's got allies floating down to help him out. 3-on-3 here in the bottom lane, and we can see more members are floating down. Looks like we're going to see if they get a very nice Void Prison. 3 members. The Root goes a follow with the Shock and Awe. A lot of damage going down. The cast aside with the Smite. Will Brightwing live? No, Brightwing does follow as well. There's going to be a ton of pressure here on this bottom fort. Giants throwing their stones away. Faker Fangirl has to play relatively passive. It doesn't look like he can tap well, or she. I assume Faker Fangirl's a girl. It's a pretty safe assumption, I'd say. And, False Head flying up top to make sure they soak and don't take too much damage here from Jexia, as she is, in fact, pressuring this top lane.
Yeah, and we do see that ORZ is like, they're trying to figure out what to do. They have one person sitting mid to try to stall in case both shrines gets capped. We do have a fight going on up top in the shrine. Diablo versus just False Head, kind of a weird matchup.
Yeah, I mean, it's not something you see too commonly. Now, Caterpillar is, in fact, in position here, and if we do get the Shadow Charge flip, but we will not see that happen here. Arthas moving on in, and a nice route on both players. We see the Bella Baby coming from behind, and that's actually going to be a amazing Rain of Vengeance going down, but will be enough for Caterpillar to live. Yes, Caterpillar is going to get out, and very, very nicely done. No depth there from either side. Pretty passively played. I'm surprised that he didn't actually fully cap that shrine. That was a bit of a mistake by the False Head player. He had to wait roughly half a second before it would cap for his team.
And, the APOC went out and hit nothing.
Yes, a waste of an APOC now. Brightwing
That's a really big thing, too.
It is. It's a long cooldown. It's a long
huge cooldown. So that, I don't know. I don't know why it came out. They already got their kill.
He was looking at something that we weren't, that's for sure, because it is a global heroic that goes on every hero. Maybe he was trying to get something else accomplished. We can see the Brightwing did bribe these guys down here, and we're going to be fighting a Tyrael head-on, but he's got Faker Fangirl to come help him out down here, and those Giants are just going to keep pummeling away. Now Tyrael will, in fact, work on them, see what he can do, and these Knights are going to be pushing in the top lane in favor of ORZ.
So we do see that dISSENt is picking up their Giants. They're doing their thing. They're trying to get as much pressure down on the map as they can in order to facilitate picking up a Dragon Knight. But while they are picking up Giants, it's kind of it was a good idea if that root hit,
yes,
and the
vault didn't go off. Yeah.
No, even if they all went off, because Xerath was waiting. He was sitting there waiting for the fight. If that ult hit, should have been okay. Blue Fox not gonna be able to make it out. They do have Bellaboy coming in, gonna, just clean up Jexia, no big deal. 5v1 Diablo. It's pretty much like you're just playing Diablo 3,
Yeah. Plenty of souls to bring Jexia back up here in Diablo, though. Dragon Knight is ready to be taken from ORZ. They have all 5 members up, a nice fight going in, but there's going to be no follow-up to it, so no one will be falling from that. But we see the Arthas is posturing to grab this. No one's going to be here to contest, and that's going to be a nice, clean Dragon Knight taken for ORZ, and they're going to see what they can do to push the top lane with their Knights, which are already doing a lot of work up here. Now, the front wall has been taken out completely, but we see all the members of dISSENT are shifting up here to take out this Dragon Knight or to defend their top fort the best they can.
Yeah, I mean they get a pretty sizable chunk of experience there too, just because of how many creeps were in lane. So that's good. That's a nice little bonus. They should try to hit their team before they get into their next big team fight, and I like this call to split entirely. Like, you have the Dragon Knight up top. There's 5 people top. Just take bottom forward. It's
they're soaking both lanes. They're getting twice the XP right now. This Dragon Knight is just going to be used passively. He's still got 24 seconds left on it. They took a fort. The bottom fort is not weak at all, but the wall is exposed at the very least. And yes, dISSENT might be able to push here, but they can actually collapse on them, and we can see the entire team is in fact rotating up here to collapse on. Now dISSENT is aware that this is going to be a very likely option. They're pinging here to fall back, but it's too late. The Emerald Wind goes down, but the smite goes right on through it on Insider. A nice Apocalypse to kind of position in, but you know what? A nice fallback coming from ORZ, hitting almost no one with the Apocalypse.
Oh no!
Ooh, that's some failure communication there. The Void Prison and the Shockanaw should be. The Shockanaw should come after, just a little bit early on the gun there from the false head flyer. It was a beautiful Void Prison, that's for sure, but the Shockanaw was, again, a bit early, but it still went quite well for ORZ here.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. They'll probably try to pick up. Actually, they have bribes, so they can definitely do this. They'll take out Knights, and they might actually decide to swing up top as well, just because how long the dISSENT team is still down, so they could potentially swing through this if they really wanted to. Blue Fox is gonna get out of there, stay alive, stay living.
Yep, I mean, no reason to risk yourself. They were able to see him up there. So Judgment's got an 80-second cooldown. You're pointing to show me.
Yeah, Judgment. Tyrael's ult Judgment is just like, it's really good, and it's gonna be coming up like right about now. So if they want to go into a fight, they could do whatever they want. They could just turn and jump in on something if they really felt like it. As dISSENT isn't actually even grouped as 5 right now. So if they decide to take their Giants and then go down to bottom Giants and bait the bottom Giants, they could do that. They could do a lot of pick stuff. Bellaboy actually might get caught out here. And
he has Blank. He'll be just fine. Yeah. Slippery little Zeratul, but they are able to see where he is, and he actually wormholes, juking Faker Fangirl entirely. Very nicely done. I mean, that's makes the character so hard to kill when you have a wormhole like that.
Yeah, I mean, what they're doing is perfectly. Wow,
this is nice for dISSENT, but they are behind. It's level 16 to level 13. I mean,
Void Prison is about 2 seconds away from being up, and if it was up right there,
they would have used it.
They would have just.
Yes.
All right, they got
there. It is, and will we see the initiation? Yes, all the players are shifting forward.
APOC,
Roots going to go down. The Roots are going to hit everything. The Emerald Wind actually keeping Brightwing there. The nice smite on in. Brightwing is backing up. He's going to barely live. Jexia in the front lines. Not going to live too much longer. A very nice Divine Storm from the Ghost of Uther. Jexia will be falling here, followed by Insider falling, and this is an open door for them to push as 4 members of their team are still alive. They don't have their support player, but it's enough because all they have to worry about is this lone Caterpillar grazing in the fields on the bottom right half here.
We see terrified of a Caterpillar. Like, Never would I ever consider it lone, because it's just a stack of cattle, and it would just ruin me.
Well, this Dragonite is in fact going to go here to Bella Boy and Bella Baby. And Bella Baby is just going to pressure, knock down this door here in the middle lane and see what they can get done. These Giants are going to go in favor. They started the Giants before the Dragonite was taken. A nicely well-timed play there as the Giants. All the mercenary camps will disappear unless they are already engaged at the time of the Dragonite being taken. We're going to see this whole lane get pushed back, but the members of dISSENT have respawned and they are engaging appropriately.
Yep, they're doing really well. They're not just running the Dragonite face first into things. And that's what you'll see a lot of that in solo queues. You see people be like, "Oh, I gotta go fight things," and they'll go try to hit stuff, and it'll end up losing a sizable. Yeah, it'll lose a sizable amount of its health before it actually gets any damage down. But waiting until the appropriate moment to go in with Dragonite is half the battle, and it was really well done there. They didn't just run in and lose it. And they do have everything open now.
He's timing the flames to make sure he hits both the structure and the wave. Make sure you clear the wave with it because it's a lot of AoE that stays on the ground, burning anything that touches it. You can see it here. He's angling it to make sure he hits all 3 structures here on the wall. Just perfect use of the Dragonite, like you said. A nice route going down here. Rain of Vengeance to counteract, but the second Shadow Beast, I guess, dodges a nice Emerald Wind that we saw to disengage, but the VP is real. The root with the Shock and Awe will take out the Odin to jump in from Tyrael, and they're just going to be able to plow through this keep. This keep is not going to be living much longer. Its days are done. Caterpillar can poke and prod away, but they have to be careful because there's a lot of lockdown on the team. All 5 members are still up here for ORZ.
Yep, that was really well done. Obviously the Void Prison. Yeah, the Void. We're on Skype now. The Void Prison went down, the Shock and Awe, and like we talked about before, the roots into Twilight Dream, super strong combination. You're not going to be able to go anywhere after Void Prison, you can't react while in Void Prison, and then when you try to react, you're going to get silenced. So it's like, what do you really do? And the answer is, don't be clumped up in the first place. So, really well done by ORZ here. I mean, they're locking down their opponents, they're using their abilities to the max of their ability.
Chill Wind Yeti.
Chill Wind Yeti. Yeah. Solidarity. But we're looking at what might be just a full-on jump up top.
They might try to do a death push here. I mean, they've been winning these team fights pretty handily, but what's the cooldown on the heroics? I would imagine there's still a decent amount of cooldown. It looks like all the members of dISSENT have their heroics just about ready in a few seconds here. I know we can't see it on screen, but a few were used in that engagement actually. Uther using Divine Storm. But these are going to be a free pair of knights, or free squadron of knights here offensively, while the top knights are actually pushing as well. So they're going to have a double knight push here in the top lane while they pressure, likely in the middle lane, pushing 2 lanes at once, diverting the attention of dISSENT, doing what they can to press this game forward. Now, the middle keep has already been taken, so they have the catapults here, and it looks like they're a little split as to what they want to do. They see the shrines are coming up, so they're spreading around the map, you know, just kind of feeling it out. Looks like they're going to go grab both shrines here.
Yeah, they don't really need to force a fight right now. They have a massive level advantage, and because of the timing of the Dragonite, this is really good for them. They can take the Dragonite and just march down mid lane. I'm not sure if okay, so we have Zeratul in Dragonite. That's not the worst thing. I probably would have put Arthas in there.
I mean, Void Prison is off cooldown, so I would actually personally rather have the Void Prison ready to roll for this, as you have that forced initiation that's been working out incredibly well for them up to this point in time. But at least he can be pretty aggressive with it because he can always blink out pretty carefree as everyone gets knocked away from him. So it's not too scary being the Zeratul in the front line, but we're going to see the Odin go down, meaning dISSENT is committed to this defense. And the Emerald Wind by Blue Fox doing a little bit, actually pushing people out of the Apocalypse. And we actually have a full Smite engagement here. Caterpillar is going to fall. Jexia is going to fall. And this Dragonite is going to smack its way to victory, hitting for 800 damage with each smack here. The flames are burning everything. And this is going to be a clean victory at 16 minutes on Dragonshire. Well played to both teams, but those Void Prison engagements were just doing what they needed and allowing them to take those team fights.
Yeah, for sure. It was pretty much exactly what they needed every time, and there was. I don't actually remember any Void Prisons being sloppy.
I'm impressed
they were
with
very
ORZ. I mean, we've never seen them play before,
right?
And that was just super clean play. They looked on point. They played well. They knew when to take engagements. They knew how to poke with the first Dragonite, where they baited the entire team up and they just pressed and got that bottom fort. Just really, good game sense and knowledge. I mean, they know how to play the game. They know how to play the meta, and they absolutely know what they're doing. So it's not even just good mechanics; it's great game sense and impressive play on their part.
Yeah.
But dISSENt, they looked good. I mean, it was a close game. It definitely wasn't a stomp. I mean, we had a 3-level difference in the end, but when you take multiple keeps there, the XP does add up quite quickly. Yeah, it just kind of
expands pretty quick.
Real quick, and the fact that they weren't able to ever get those Dragonites, they kept losing fights, and then the Dragonite would spawn soon after. So it didn't work out in their favor. But we've got several more games left now. I'm going to be prepping those right quick while we do this. Matt is actually multitasking so hard. I'm so impressed because he's actually casting. I'm like looking over here. He's actually casting while like running a tournament. He's like on challenge, like updating the scores for Kings of the Storm. That's going over on twitch.tv/ZoyaTV and twitch.tv/KevinNaki. So there's like a ton of esports content here today. He's running the event and feeding the casters the matches. Like, hey, cast this game, cast this game while casting here. It's impressive. It really is. But yeah, you're doing it like a boss. Well, we're gonna prep this next game right quick. It's gonna be game 2 again. This is a best of 5 series between dISSENT and ORZ, who is one of my favorite teams now. Now they don't have Caterpillar, which is obviously a superior name to any of their players' names. But it's okay.
Not wrong.
It's okay. It looks like in this game we're gonna be on Haunted Mines. Again, we're just prepping things. Wrecked.
Correct.
Oh, I thought you said wrecked. I'm like, what's wrecked?
Haunted Mines.
What's wrecked?
Got him.
I was so confused. I'm like, is there some meta that I'm missing here? Well, we can actually pop on over to the draft here, and we can see that we have the pick bands here. No, my graphic overlay. Oh, you can see underneath Stitches. I blundered.
No.
Disregard the thing that I just pointed out. Well, Stitches Arthas as the first bands, or the bands here for the match. Not a big surprise.
Yeah, no, I mean it's pretty standard across the board. 2 super strong warriors, 2 really big gameplay changing warriors that'll pretty much mess your day up if you play wrong. So that's standard. I'm just gonna cut time because we've talked about these so many times, and we just saw these teams play, so we know it's like ORZ is a clean team. They know what they're doing. They have solid play. We watched dISSENT earlier. They did really well as well. So I don't need to hype the teams anymore. They're both really good. Illidan is in this draft. It happened, and it wasn't of the last pick.
Illidan Raynor. Like Raynor's not even that common of a pick either.
Well, with Illidan, Raynor's not uncommon.
Yes,
because of
that's what I'm excited about.
Because of Inspire, you can do it.
It's a really cool duo right there that we have. And just to point out, Zeratul, probably the biggest playmaker in Game 1 for ORZ, has been shifted to dISSENT. dISSENT managed to pick up Zeratul for this game, preventing that pick for ORZ. Really nicely done. And I think the Void Prison did so much work. I can't emphasize enough how much that like affected the first game.
Yeah, I mean there was just a ton of synergy coming out of ORZ. So I'm interested to see how they play Illidan. I want to say it'll be a hunt because they like that. It seems that they like to have the initial burst. Like they like that pick one, blow it up. And so if say a Zeratul gets out of position, if he's already used his blink, he won't be able to disjoint the hunt, and he has such low health that it doesn't matter. Like it'll just go in and blow him up. Same thing with Tassadar. If Tassadar has used his shift and he doesn't have anything to deal with that, if he gets hunted on, it's bad news for him. So 2 extremely squishy characters that Illidan can certainly take advantage of, especially if it's followed with a Shakana or a Judgment from Tyrael. Either one of those will be able to lock the hero down, and it'll be really good. So I mean, I want to see that. It might be very, very cool, and we are seeing another Diablo coming out from dISSENT. So the Diablo is a really good counter to melees in general, just because if they come in on you, you just
flip them.
APOC.
Yep.
You just APOC and you flip
and
off.
flip,
like, there's so many things. Like you can just punch them away. You can APOC them. You can flip them and punch them back. Like it's really dangerous to play against Diablo as a melee. So the Diablo pickup, I understand it. It's pretty cool. I'm not sure if I 100% agree. I might want to see an Anub instead, just because of how much just raw going in they have.
It's just, it's possible that, I mean, I think this is just a comfort pick.
Right,
I mean,
it seems like it,
Jexia looked very comfortable on Diablo.
Yeah.
Probably, I mean, Noob being a brand new hero, been out for, what, 2 weeks now, if that?
Yeah.
So, yes, no big surprise here. I'm excited to see this game. I think these drafts are really cool. Illidan, Raynor, you know, Illidan, anytime Illidan's playing, I mean, somebody ping Trickslayer, make sure he watches this game because Illidan's being played in a competitive game. This is like happy birthday to Trickslayer. I see the hunt in chat actually here. Guys, we're going to be hopping right on into game number 2 here. Bam. Well, we can see if I hit play, yes, and we're on faster. Oh, let's fix that right quick. The game still defaults to faster as the engine is built entirely on the StarCraft 2 client, and if you didn't know this, StarCraft 2 is actually played on the faster game setting. Look at that little glitching over the wall. I like it, guys. While we wait for this game to start, I just appreciate all the follows here on the channel. We're going to be casting a lot of content on this channel. I do a lot of other shows here. Matt and I, we actually do an interview series every week on Thursday. We do a podcast here where we sit down with pro players. We've even had a little Blizzard employee named Trickslayer on our show once. We do a lot of cool content between my channel and Zoya TV. So Zoya TV streaming live right now, and I'm live here, and I appreciate all the follows, but this match is underway, and we see them roaming as 5 here at the start of the game. Last game, we saw that instant kill, pretty much start of the game. Just like instant kill.
Started out, they snapped it up. It's all good. So we do see, I don't know if you caught that there or not, but dISSENT, the Brightwing Blue Fox, threw a flare into the bush to see if anyone was there. So they know that the aggression exists from this team, and they've already started to adapt. Be like, okay, we can't make any mistakes. We have to play forward.
Well, Illidan on Zero Tool action. It's a weird day to see that happening because, I mean, those are 2 melee assassins that we don't see both of them in the game that often. Illidan in general, pretty uncommon. Zero Tool, very common pick. All the lanes are pretty stable. 4 bottom, 1 top. We got Tassadar versus Falstad in the top lane. Shouldn't be anything crazy happening up here. We actually see the well has already been tapped by Gemini, looking like a lot of nice side stuff is probably coming out of the Tassadar player. It's
interesting to see that dISSENT decided to play against the 4 stack on bottom. I'm not sure if they feel like they just don't have the pushing power, which is probably true, to do what we normally see on mines, where you have both teams send a 4 stack into whatever lane your golem is going into. So that could be a thing, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. Inside are actually doing a really good job here, just zoning away Gemini from a pretty big wave of experience, but he's just not able to do enough to keep him off. So they do have a tiny experience lead right now, possibly due to the capture of giants and possibly due to that denial of experience in top lane. And dISSENT has the lead right now, so now it's kind of their move to make. When the mines open, if they're not ready to go in, if they're not able to stall out whatever is going to happen, then bad times for them.
Well, looks like we have Figure Ferngul kind of stepping forward here a little bit too much. 2 players have gone into the mines, and all the players here on Team ORZ are going right on in. Now we're in the mines here. We see Caterpillar is pushing forward, but as we see dISSENT try to come in, 1 player is actually just pretty much forced out. Diablo actually gets picked off as Jexia is trying to escape the mines. And this is a good opportunity for Team ORZ to just take a lot of skulls. They have to wait for Diablo to be back. They don't want to engage 4v5, and we just see them collecting this entire left portion of the mines right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's the right call for them. They'll be able to pick up a sizable amount of skulls, but they need to move very quickly to the next section. If they don't, then they're going to end up tying out the same amount of skulls for anything that's not in the golem.
Figure Ferngul needs to get out of here. A blink and a mount up will be just enough to get him out of here in one piece. But the boss is left here in the mines, and both teams want those skulls. They're at 30-40 apiece in favor of dISSENT presently. A nice flip here on Malfurion, but they don't have the damage ready to just burst him down. I'm surprised we didn't see a blink in from the Zeratul player. We see Zeratul is fighting head-to-head with Illidan. Illidan actually taking the favor, but Illidan will fall as well. Jexia coming on in with the Shadow Charge. He throws down the Firestorm, and he's going to go right on in. Tyrael has fallen as well, so this is a nice fight, but there's still 3 members remaining on ORZ.
Yeah, we look, the fight's trying to get extended. We have Malfurion actually going to go ahead and lose his life. Caterpillar going to be able to pick that kill up as well. So now, once again, dISSENT heavily in the lead, able to pretty much push the pace of this game but they are all really, really low. So this is one of those issues where it's like, okay, can we actually do this without them coming in and killing us, or are we going to be alright? And for right now, they're okay. If they stick around too long after they clear the golem down bottom and they try to just raw recall, they might lose a couple of people. We'll see what happens.
Well, they're doing just that. You know, like you said, if the raw recall is a risky play, but it looks like they're getting out just fine. Jexia might get picked off here. It's going to be hard to save her, but Faker Fangirl falling back has the damage. Brightwing able to give a little bit of sustain here, but Blue Fox doesn't seem to want to stick around, and Jexia is actually forfeit, stalling as long as she can, but that's going to be one loss for them. Now, not the worst thing in the world. I mean, I'd say having a 70 skull golem is worth one death for sure. But they're just going to have to rotate. Diablo will be up in just 2 seconds. The death timers are very short at this point in the game. They're going to use this advantage of that death to take the Knights here.
Yeah, I think they should be able to do just that. They should be able to take Knights and kind of walk away really easily. The issue is that they are going to be a level behind if they lose this.
Blue Fox is going in really hard. I don't think I agree with this play. You need the sustainability on your right wing. Actually manages to back up. Nicely done. And they're going to actually steal the Knights. That's a huge play here in favor of dISSENT. That was actually really, really ballsy.
It was risky. It was a risky play, and I think it paid off purely because of the way that, well, it obviously paid off, but I think it paid off because of the way that ORZ actually went about taking the Knights, where they were using abilities on them and they weren't getting ready to focus down someone that was about to come in and try to fight them off, because it seemed like they kind of just got a little bit too comfortable. They were like, oh, we don't have to worry about anything.
Well, we can see this little golem here in favor on ORZ side doing almost nothing, but dISSENT's golem, 70 skulls, doing a lot of work as the team is pushing with it. They should be able to do a decent amount of damage here on this fort here, and the Giants are still pushing in the bottom, but Raynor is cleaning them up as quickly as he can.
Yep. The nice kill. So the issue with fighting under golem is that it has that slam. And if you stand in the slam, you're gonna get wrecked. The damage also amplifies based on how many skulls it has on it. So like, you just never want to do that. You never want to take a team fight underneath a golem. It'll just hurt you so much, and it can lead to you just kind of getting wrecked. And we saw it right there. Hopefully they don't make that mistake again in the same game or ever, and they'll be fine. The game's certainly not over yet. It's just looking really, really bad for ORZ.
Yeah, they're in a tough spot. I mean, dISSENT is controlling the mercenaries pretty heavily. They have the Ford Giants. They've taken the Knights just a little while ago, and their Giants are still up for grabs. They have level 10, and pretty much that pretty much means ORZ can't initiate on them. Not having heroics, you can't fight.
Yeah, it's and that right there is kind of the definition of Haunted Mines. Like, a lot of the times, one team will get pretty vastly far ahead, and because they're so far ahead, they force you to a point where you're just like, I don't know what to do. Like, they have level 10, I'm at least a level back. How do I respond to this? And a lot of times, it's usually just waiting until the next mines come up and finding that one pick, finding that open door, the opportunity for you, and you just have to shoot for it, take it, and hit it perfectly. But this is a good idea, how they have the split.
Yes, they make sure they soak. They need to catch up in XP. They need level 10 very badly. Falstad flew to the top lane while 4 of them try to hold this fort back. A very good call because, I mean, even if they get this fort, that's going to give them a lot of XP, but they need level 10 before they can really take the initiation. Really, the VP is nice, but oh, the Apocalypse actually does manage to clip the Malfurion, securing the kill. Nicely done there, and this is going to be a fallen fort for sure. So, did Falstad flying to the top pay off? Maybe not, but I still think it was the right call.
I think it paid off anyways. I don't think even if Falstad was there, I don't think they would have been able to defend that fort. And if Falstad had died there as well, then it's likely that dISSENT could have just pushed on to the keep. So, while it's unfortunate that Malfurion died, because they are so far behind, the experience gained from it is relatively low, and he'll be up for the mines. So it's not awful that it happened. Obviously, you don't want that to happen, but it's certainly recoverable, and they have their entire 5-stack ready to go, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, with level 10, they definitely have a fighting chance. I mean, they are still 2 levels down, but they have to worry about those siege giants, which are still, they are not pushing the top lane, excuse me, they have been cleared out at this point in the game. Well, we're going to see the skulls be gathered up here, and it's pretty likely that Dissent will want to fall on them, but actually it looks like they're going to be playing passively, just collecting the skulls. They have complete vision as to where they are, and seeing the skulls disappear on the minimap here. But a nice route here on Blue Fox, but I don't know if they're going to be able to capitalize. Now, Smite should be ready at any moment. When they want to initiate, it's going to go down. They're probably going to wait for the root timer to be down, to be ready to roll. And remember, we have the... what did we get for Illidan? Do we have Hunt? Do you have the game open up?
I'm not in the game.
You're not in the game, okay. Not in the replay, so we can't actually check. I don't want to check here. A nice VP getting 3 members of ORZ, and the Thor goes down, releasing it. The Smite comes on in. Raiders goes down. Rainer has to back up. He's going to try to get out of his, but Faker Fangirl will have enough burst, but Faker Fangirl will fall in return. Jexer going down. Oh my god, we have Metamorphosis coming in here. Not going to give that much HP, but it's going to be enough to keep him alive for a little while, doing a decent amount of damage. Now Falstad chasing this Tychus out of here. Accidentally clicking the golem, unless he was trying to bait a stomp. Not too sure if that was intended, or...
I would imagine so, because he uses Q. So
yeah, huh, okay, interesting. So he was thinking potentially a stomp could come out of that golem, but it did not end up proccing. So a neat idea there, but it's not going to pay off, as he did in fact fall. And the level advantage has diminished quite a bit here for Team Dissent.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much underdog for you. If you don't have a consistent amount of experience coming in, and you're able to, if you're the winning team, and if the losing team is able to get a couple of kills, it'll actually end up pretty much tying everything up. And it's really scary when that happens. And if you lose a pretty big team fight like they just did, then your experience gap gets pretty much cut in half, if not more.
I mean, the game is pretty much dead even. We have Knights here pushing down for Dissent, and we see that there are forts down on the side of ORZ, but they have that 75 skull golem, meaning that Dissent pretty much has to defend, because pushing with a 25 skull golem, not really worth your time. You want to make sure this guy doesn't get too much work in, and yeah, their Knight's going to do a little bit here, but they're going to all float down, burn through it, and then rotate up to clean up that little baby golem. They might not even bother, because he's 25 skulls. No problem.
Yeah, they'll be able to, just casually go through it. No big deal.
Well, we can see them rotating over here. They want to help out their 75 skull golem. They won the mines heavily, and you can see it's affected here. Any kind of engagement under their own golem is wonderful for them, especially because it's still got a good 45% of its HP remaining here. Trying to keep that tower up, just delaying the inevitable. I don't even know if I agree with using the cooldown on that, because you might want to use that on your Diablo in just a moment. It's pretty short, I suppose. Yeah, we see it being used once again. Now, a lot of heroics should be just about ready to roll here, but the golem is going to pressure, and this is going to be the first 4 in favor of ORZ. They have Giants pushing the top lane down, but that's a huge Void Prison, and Apocalypse goes down a little bit early. Now, we have the Tranquility coming down, and Emerald Wind disengaged. Shock and Awe is almost going to be good, but a nice blink by the Zeratul to dodge it. And this is actually going very well for ORZ, losing just their Tyrael at this point, and being able to continue the push, and that Golem's still got a good 10% HP left.
Yeah, the Judgment there was actually on point. So what it did was the Judgment went in and it stunned Zeratul, so he couldn't actually cancel out the Void Prison. That's why the APOC didn't actually do anything, and it allowed ORZ to just kind of do their thing.
Drag click like StarCraft. This is news to me.
Yeah, it's a new feature. It doesn't do anything, but so it's a new feature.
I just realized how I've been calling
you
Judgment Smite the whole time. Yeah.
Slowly trying to get you to wean you off of that, but it's okay.
I don't play Warriors, so you know what?
Yeah.
I'll accept my fate and prove that I was wrong. So yes, that is called Judgment, and I will fix that moving forward, guys. Well, we have this big push here on the top fort, and it's gonna burn this down pretty quick. Yeah, they're definitely gonna get this easy peasy, and they'll just fall right on back. No reason to keep pressuring. The mines will be up pretty soon. I mean, the timer should be coming up any moment now, and they know that is the case for sure. So they're just posturing. Now, they could go for something cheeky. They could all try to hide in the bush and go surprise and just pop out and try to get a kill, but we don't see that being the case here. We saw that in the first game. They like to do that sneak tactic a little bit, but I'm not too sure that's going to be the case this game. Grabbing their vision here for Dissent on the right side of the map, evening the vision out, and the game's just going to kind of normalize till the mines pop up.
Yeah, I mean, They do have the slight level advantage. They have the talent tier that, level 16, pretty much god tier, talent tier, aside from level 20.
It's
So
a big advantage.
It's a massive advantage.
Yeah.
And it's likely that we have Falsehead. I'm actually zooming to the point in the game right now. It's likely that we have Falsehead on Overdrive, so he'll be able to just mage his way to victory. So that's a thing. And if they get the lockdown like they have been, then I wouldn't be surprised to see someone just get absolutely deleted. Although the Void Prison does come out right now.
Well, this is going to be a beautiful initiation here. That is a beautiful Apocalypse hitting almost everything on their team. Shockanaw comes down doing very little. Faker Fangirl is going to melt pretty quickly here. The Metamorphosis is down, and he is chasing the Odin, saying, hey, look, you can transform. I can do that too. Let's fight. And Caterpillar is on the run, but it's not going to be enough. He will fall here in a very decisive near team wipe, with Tassener just having a sliver of health left. That's going to allow them to get a 100 skull golem pretty quickly. They're just going to spread out in the mines here, take whatever they can, and actually zooming out in the mines is a risky play because we've lagged in the mines in previous casts due to some weird lighting that happens here. But yes, we can see Tassener actually being bold and actually just kind of taking one little pack here. Got 8 skulls. You know what? What else is he gonna do? He's gonna get some XP in the top lane, but they easily could have sent Zeratul hunting.
They probably could have, but it's a matter of worth. Like,
yes,
they can just do whatever they want, and
let's make sure we get all the skulls, and then let's push with our Giganto Golem. 92 skulls is gonna be pretty massive. They're just actually gonna go top off their mana, wait for it to spawn. Ignore this golem because they don't even care, and they know they can push to win because they're in even positioning. These towers are going to fall in a matter of seconds, and are they going to clear? No. Okay.
No.
They're just hiding their pathing. They're going a weird route.
Nope, not hiding.
Not hiding, but they're going a weird route. Okay, I see. They want the giants. It's a
this
short
is a mistake, for the record.
Yes,
this has lost many.
I'm surprised.
Games.
I'm surprised.
This is actually one of the reasons why Team Liquid lost their games, because they do this stuff where they aren't.
Was that Kings of the Storm, or was that
that's pretty much every game they play on Haunted Mines. They like to go for giants, and they like to do it at a very strange time. Like, look at how much health has been taken off of that golem right now. Like, you can see it right here. You can see how much health is just getting taken off for free.
They should have ran straight there, and that's what I thought they were going to do.
Yeah, you're right. They should have done that. It was allowed to be fully DPS down to half health without them even being there. And this is a 92 skull golem at 16 minutes. Like,
which it's not
he's
hitting like a truck.
Yeah. Like, if you were there to pressure the enemy team off of that, it would still be...
Jexia actually getting stunned by the golem. The root goes down. Now, again, these guys are playing on different servers, so the lag is definitely a factor. But still a nice judgment going on in with the Tranquility. They're pushing on forward. They're going to get this keep with no problem. The Metamorphosis goes down on the Odin once again. We have Transformer battles here, and that's going to be a Caterpillar...
This should be game.
He's living. He's living. Now, Jexia will fall, and yes, that guarantees that this game is definitely over.
Yeah, and now you see the difference of what happened. The golem is at about a quarter of its health. At the start of that fight, the golem was at, what, maybe like 2/5 of its health, so a little bit more. But the second that they started pressuring off of the golem, all DPS just stopped on it. Like, no one was able to DPS it. They backed out. They're like, all right, we have to hold this back. We can't actually go in on this. And that's something that a lot of teams don't realize, that it's part of it. Like, you have to protect the golem as much as you want to push with it.
Yeah.
And you just pressuring it will be that. It'll be that part. It'll be the your way to stop things, because you're accentuating the pressure that it gives. That it'll stop people from going in and just sitting there and be like, oh, I'll just right click it until it dies. And like that, you never want that. You never want them to just be able to do full
you
DPS.
want to pressure with it, because like we've said time and time again, fighting under your own golem is a massive advantage, because their melees have to watch out for that stomp that comes out of the golem, which is just so incredibly strong. Guys, remember, this is a best of 5 series, and then after this best of 5 is over, we have Team No Limit, the Korean Rockstar team of former StarCraft 2 pros versus Symbiote Gaming. Potentially our last game. I guess I should probably check my email to see if they send us more replays.
We'll probably have we might do dinner and then
in intermission. Yeah, that's we're gonna play it by ear, but at the very least we're gonna be finishing out round 2 of this tournament with this, and then Team No Limit versus SMG. Now this again, best of 5 series. We're going to prep the next match, and let me get that picks bands up, and then I can do the other graphics. So let's get the pick band sheet, which is pre-created here. Look at that preparation, and this is going to be game number 3. Now going live with the pick bands here. Stitches and Zeratul. Now, just game 1, we saw Zeratul actually just rock dISSENT.
Yeah.
Game 2, dISSENT got Zeratul and didn't get anywhere. I mean, he did good, but not anywhere near like just the those god void prisons.
Right.
Well, I mean, it wasn't poor play. It just wasn't the same kind of synergy in the composition. They didn't have the ability to line up that mega shock and awe. But we did see some nice void prisms into apocalypses going down there. So dISSENT says, you know what? We lost so hard to that Zeratul in the first game. Let's just ban it out. And I like this call. I think it's a really nice call. Looking at the rosters, first pick on Brightwing.
Never a good idea.
Weird. They managed to get Tychus Tassadar anyways, but this is a really cool composition out of dISSENT.
They get Brightwing Tychus because they're second pick, so they automatically get that. I mean, this is still a really strong comp for ORZ. Like, if I were to look at the entirety of both of them, I would put ORZ ahead almost 100% of the time. If Brightwing was not Brightwing, if that was Rhaegar, I would say absolutely that dISSENT has a crazy strong team. But they don't, and I would say that dISSENT's team is a little bit weaker right now, but I don't know how ORZ is going to react to an Abathur. It seems like a lot of teams in the competitive scene, especially, they're not really sure about Abathur yet. They're still trying to find a way to deal with him. They sort of just leave him on his own sometimes, and sometimes they won't kill mines when they pop up in the middle of the lane, and because of that, it'll give an entire wave of experience that they normally wouldn't have gotten. And so there's a couple of things like that people are slowly learning how to deal with, and it'll be interesting to see how they respond this time. So the ETC pick, certainly weird.
Yeah,
I've always been
cool.
a fan of him, but I've never actually... I look at him from a competitive perspective, and I'm like, I don't know if it's really worth running him. Like, there's so many other heroes that are tanks and disruptors that I would probably run over him, but he certainly has his merits if you're allowed to hit the things that you're trying to hit.
I mean, in the earlier versions of the meta, we were seeing a ton of ETC because of like how much value we were getting out of Mosh Pit. And then around the time that Brightwing entered the game, Polymorph was shutting it down so hard, and other people just learned how to knock him out of it. Save that grenade on Tychus, save that Polymorph, just knock him out of that mosh pit, and the meta has shifted significantly many times over since then. So, cool to see that pick, cool to see an Abathur today, and Brightwing. It's a really weird comp, but I'm actually really pumped for this game. And without further ado, we can actually just hop right on into the game. Matt, you ready to go?
I am.
We are ready to roll here, and we're going to be going right on in to our next game number 3. Now we're going to switch that game speed to normal. We're going to tone down the game sounds once again. I'm used to setting it to a certain level, but it seems extra loud today.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe because of the reinstall.
Yeah, that must be the case. Actually, I think it's probably the in-game client being a little bit higher than I probably had it prior to this. But that's quite fine. We can just adjust it on the hardware we have here. And we see the new Halloween skin here for Abathur. Oh, it's such a good skin. It's so cool. Good. It's like it's a value skin, that's for sure. His locusts have brain too? I didn't even know that. They're like fatter and brainier. All right. Well, talking about the game, this is in fact game 3, round 2 between dISSENT and Team ORZ. ORZ? ORZ? Is it ORZ? It looks like an acronym to me.
I don't know. I mean, both?
It's both. This is Jimmy.
Is it ORZ or is ORZ?
Shout out to This Is Jimmy, a StarCraft 2 player that named himself This Is Jimmy because that's what Rainer says. He goes, "This is Jimmy." Nice. Love it, love it. Well, it's pretty normal here. We have quite a few players. The teams have switched sides, so it's going to probably drive me nuts. And we have Team ORZ on the red side here.
Sometimes you just got to switch it up. Look at that golden mount, though. That golden battle wolf with the infested Tychus.
I know, it's Halloween today. It's Halloween. Where's Countess Kerrigan? Well, those are the 3 new Halloween skins that are available in the game. The infested Tychus, the Countess Kerrigan, and the Skullwither? I don't even know what it's called.
Yeah,
Skullwither. Well,
but we do see that Abathur, you know, he's doing his thing. He's trying to get as much damage down as he can, trying to push lanes. Be Abathur, you know, just giving everybody
just
hats.
Abathur
Very
things. Giving everybody nice hats. It's like playing Team Fortress when you have Abathur on your team.
Yeah.
But Faker Fangirl needs to run out of here. Now the Abathur is in fact on top of her, giving her that hat, and she's just gonna phase shift away. But the stun comes out from Raynor, and will very possibly lock in a kill. Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's gotta hurt.
I'm
It hurts
amazed.
real deep.
I'm amazed.
Real deep. But we do have a fight going down on bottom shrine right now.
And look,
looks like
look at this bold play. Not even going to go back yet. I'm just going to keep soaking my lane, make sure I maximize my XP. I'm not afraid of you guys. I'm just going to keep healing on it up. Just Brightwing things. Bottom lane is in favor of our left side team dISSENt right now. And Equinox is going to keep mowing down. Look at that. The ooze coming out of his gun. Such a cool skin. The only legendary skin in the game, in fact. ETC coming on down on Bella, baby. Smacking away. Caterpillar. He's a cattle.
Oh, he is a cattle.
Oh my gosh, the true Caterpillar dream has been achieved. Well, we have the push going on here, just slightly in the mid, and it's a pretty normal game. Looks like they want to grab the Giants on their half of the map, but dISSENt realizes this, and they're going to actually pressure and potentially steal, as they have 4 out of 5 of their members. But technically, with Abathur, they've got their full team there. And a nice pickup. Here the bribe stack going down, and this could actually be a really good team fight. Looks like Arthas will in fact fall, and all they have to do is back up. They got the offensive Giants under their nose, and they took a kill for it. That's a huge win, putting almost a level lead in favor of dISSENt.
Yeah, I mean that was a huge pickup. It's really interesting to see that we have 2 bribes, 1 on each team. We have Seasoned Marksman on Raynor, and if the game goes deep, if this goes to a long game, then Raynor will actually just start pummeling everyone. Like he has if he farms Seasoned Marksman appropriately, he'll be able to do a crazy amount of damage, and he'll just be able to, you know, kind of run train through everything. We do have a mule. We have first aid coming out on Tychus, so a little bit tanky Tychus build coming through this game. As they're doing Knights right now, we have Regenerative Rains, very standard on Brightwing. You know, every time you use an ability, you proc your passive, but for 50% now. It was a little too strong for a little while. We see Dragon Knight does get picked up by dISSENt, so hopefully we'll see that getting a little bit of pressure down in mid, most likely, possibly swinging down the bottom. I'm personally a fan of the bottom pressure first because
with the Giants down here, yes, I agree 100%. You have all Giants, all 3 groups of Giants will be pushing that bottom lane. But we see the middle lane is being pressured by the Dragon Knight right now, opting to just burn the closest towers available. You want to just be able to just keep poking away, prodding away. The Dragon Knight is taking a good amount of damage, but this bottom tower will be falling here. And we see the aggression kind of coming out. They're trying to actually kind of surround the Dragon Knight, but just punching Arthas right on out. Whole wall has been decimated, and Jexia is just going to back up here. Dragon Knight still got 6 seconds left, so he'll just wait, or she'll just wait until it explodes and resume to her normal form.
Oh. Yeah, so we do have I mean, Tassadar are able to move around really well, even after being, you know, Dragon, able to still keep that pressure in mid lane just because of Psystorm. You know, it clears waves really, really quickly. And Brightwing, I think, kind of realizes that something seems fishy. Well, maybe not. Just jumped over to Knights to throw on the
using the bribe stacks really nicely
ended
done.
Ended up saving her. So they had 3 people roaming top to, you know, kind of ruin her day.
Very true.
So able to get out. Nice little bonus there.
Yeah, it's a double victory there using the phase shift, which has a 45-second cooldown, I believe. Not the longest cooldown in the game, but it's still her only real use of mobility, as she has no mount. And unlike Falstad, she doesn't get mount speed after being out of combat for a period of time. Now we see Arthas coming down here, but Caterpillar is in a good position to see it happening, and he just knocks him back. And this top lane is just going to get pushed by the Knights, and we have 3 players here for ORZ to defend. Now, all over the map, I mean, we see that dISSENt isn't soaking. They want to pressure. They're all 5 top pressuring this lane. Even the Abathur body, actually he does rotate to the bottom lane to make sure they're soaking in the bottom lane. Nicely done there by the Abathur player. But it's going to be tough to get this for it.
Now both teams have level 10.
Emerald win. Now that was a really good Emerald win, and the mosh pit goes in. Now they use Judgment to come in and interrupt the mosh pit, but it doesn't really matter. The Shockana only going to hit Caterpillar. The Rainer player is getting just sprayed to death by the Abathur. A nice Archon just chipping away. Brightwing might have Poly ready. Yes, will the kill be enough to kill? Probably not. It comes down, but it's not going to be enough. Army of the Dead will keep that Arthas nice and happy. That fort's going to go down. Have to give a lot of credit to the Emerald Wind, forcing them into the top right corner, following up with the mosh pit. Just really well done.
Yeah, that was a really tight play. And on top of that, the Abathur is just, I mean, I should have known when Blue started playing this game, when he started playing with Jexia on dISSENt forever ago, he was an Abathur player, and it was before a lot of people were like, oh, Abathur is definitely like the thing, like we should run Abathur a lot, and like no teams were doing it. So I should have recognized that, and I should have said that he does play pretty good Abathur. So
awesome.
I'm happy to see that he's still got it. I haven't seen him in a while, and this Falstead,
really nice play by the ETC coming down to try to zone him out, but not going to be enough. I mean, all in all, dISSENt is just playing this game perfectly. Their heroic usage is interesting. Emerald Wind paired with Stage Dive, I don't know that I've ever seen that. Or not Stage Dive, excuse me. Mosh Pit. Don't know that I've ever seen that. And I thoroughly enjoy it because Mosh Pit has fallen out of the meta so hard, and it's good to see it back in the game now. Even with the Judgment canceling out pretty quick, it still had its worth enough to stall them there.
Right, so there's another thing there that, like, if Judgment is what's going to get burned to knock him out of Mosh Pit,
it's already worth it.
It's worth it without a doubt.
Now, Faker Farangol is in a tough situation here, but oh my gosh, the Emerald Wind, followed by Ice Block, but it's not going to be enough. It was a really cool disengage, but if they had all the members ready to help out,
I think
it probably
he still has Shockana as well. I think the Emerald Wind clipped him and stopped the Shockana from going off. So I didn't hear the explosion of Shockana. I just saw the effect.
You're not in this game as well, I assume?
I am, but I think I'm behind. Whoop. Or I'm ahead? I don't know.
You're on faster, so you're well ahead. You're well ahead on your screen over there. Well, we see this initiation happening in the bottom. Equinox is on the Dragon Knight with the Abathur on his head. The hat has disappeared from him. Almost stepped in the roots. Really just getting enough to take down that wall, and he's going to abandon the Dragon Knight. And we have the full team here. Now we should be seeing the Abathur clone go down if it's off cooldown. There it is. We have the double Tychus, which means we can have double Odin throwing their Banelings with this infested skin. Such a cool ability, and just going to do what they can. Now the fact that they've used the Abathur clone means they are committed to doing as much damage as possible here in this engagement. The Odins are coming down, and listen to the sound effects. Oh, the Odins are coming. Like Attack on Titan theme song should be playing because we got a lot of giant things here on the map, just wrecking things, doing a ton of damage. The pressure is going to keep on going. Even the Brightwing using her damage on the tower here, and it looks like that's all they want to do. They're going to shift to the middle lane, get the XP that they can, and those giants are a little bit off, but actually it looks like their goal is these knights here on the offensive side of the map.
We have a full rotation coming in from ORZ. If they want to fight this, they can. They might. They won't have either Odin up or dISSENt. So that's a pretty big thing. And this is a really dangerous location for dISSENt to be in. But the mosh pit might come up.
No, it still gets a really good zoning by coming in like that. And it's not going to be a mosh pit. Like you said, the Odins are definitely on cooldown. Knights going in favor of Team ORZ. And they're just going to clean up these Knights while they can.
Alright, I'll do.
Yeah, I mean, they're here. May as well clean them up. The Abathur clone is actually once again down. It's on cooldown, but it's pretty short. Mosh Pit being used, interrupted pretty quickly, and Ice Block being used by the knockback, actually canceling Shock and Awe, which means puts it on the 10-second cooldown. A nice loud speakers, if you will, coming out from ETC, and the Emerald Wind disengage was absolutely beautiful.
Yep. The Ice Block blocking that Judgment was really well done. It looked like Faker was trying to immediately go into the next Emerald Wind, but had the restraint to hold it, and so you know what? It's not going to do anything right now. I'll wait. If we need it, I'll use it afterwards. Held it, use it right there. Great disengage, and Blue Fox is
really scary, but Brightwing coming in here, actually the Polymorph will be enough for him to burrow out. Oh my, that's a huge play. That doesn't, it's a huge play by Faker Fangirl to get the save, but yeah, the hammer miss is obviously a huge misplay, and you know what? Equinox has to get out of here. Not the position he wants to be in. He doesn't have allies rotating down soon enough. The Odin's going to be here. Actually, Odin Archon, it might be enough damage to force them back. Tyrael is going to fall. What am I saying, Tychus? You don't die. You have Odin. And Archon coming.
He went tank Tychus. He has first aid as well. So even without a healer, he's just like, I got this. No big deal.
Well, we see actual Caterpillar is going in here on Gemini, trying to force him back. Not sure if he's going to be able to get the kill, but it's going to at least give... Oh, actually, the Giants ended up going to ORZ in that situation. I thought for sure that they'd be stolen, but it looks like these Knights are going to be coming up. And never mind. He's just there.
He's chilling.
Yep, just there.
Chilling. He's going to get the shrine. A Dragon Knight here would be very good for dISSENt as bottom is open. So they should be able to just kind of roll through bottom if they get a Dragon Knight. It looks like they're going to try to put ETC in
Caterpillar
there,
wants it. I think that's a good call.
Yeah, it's the right call for sure.
I mean, especially because once it breaks out, then you still have a stage dive ready to go. GoMax has left the game. That's a disconnect. Pretty unfortunate for them.
He's back, he's out, he's back, he's out. He's just, you know.
Something's going on with his internet or his computer, but hopefully he can stabilize here because it's been a really, really back and forth great series thus far, and I want to see it continue on. Now, dISSENt does have a sizable advantage. They do have that talent advantage, and it looks like they want to put it to use here. Yeah,
and I mean, it's pretty standard across the board. Tank Tychus picking up Stone Skin, Abathur picking up Locust Nest, or Druid, I believe the actual talent's called. It looks like we have Criterize? Yeah, Criterize, so enemies that are polymorph, it's like 25% more damage.
Pair that with a Dragonite, and you just get really wrecked, smashed in the face.
Yeah,
it's a lot of damage.
It's no good. No bueno. We have Guitar Instrumental, which will allow Guitar Solo's duration to be increased by 100%, so that's pretty nice. That's a nice little group up. And Second Strike from Tassadar, so, you know.
Well, we actually haven't seen the Abathur commit on cloning Tychus quite yet. The clone should be off cooldown. But still no interest in using it. It almost looked like, I mean, the Abathur's just been hanging out in the well, doing his own thing. Of course, he is very present on the map, though, as Abathurs always are. Dragonite has not been used, but I'm intrigued that they decided to not commit on that, because they could have double Odin'd with a Dragonite.
Yeah, they definitely would have pushed through that, and they would have been, like, hyper brutal. So it's weird that they did it now instead of later.
They decided maybe it's better, maybe they believe in the mosh pit a little bit more than they believe in the actual Dragonite. But hey, they're keeping the pressure on, and they are going to go in for sure, since they have used the Abathur clone.
Yeah, it's just a matter of finding that area where they feel safe enough.
Odin up!
Oh, not yet. Wait for it.
Here we go. Boys, we're going to try to blow through this keep here, doing a ton of damage. It's not even a contest. Just boom, boom, get out, use the Emerald Wind to disengage. Very clean, concise. Kind of weird, the Abathur clone's like walking out. Looks like he wants to do some more pressure to the middle maybe, but yeah, he, I feel like the timer still had a little bit to go on it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's
just disengaging.
So it didn't have too much on it. It's not a level 20.
Well, the mosh pit is down, but he gets knocked out immediately by Raynor, and Material actually falls here. I'm going to try to explode. Hits absolutely nobody. Archon used, but not super efficiently, but it doesn't matter as dISSENt and Jexi and team are well in the lead here.
Yeah. So they have this opening down bottom now. If they want to run in, they can definitely do that. They can double Odin, and they can just go for face on the core. Whether or not they're going to do that, I don't know. I'm not sure if I actually like that right now. It's still very early. But if they hit level 20, I wouldn't be surprised to see that happen. The only other option that they really have is to double giant up and then try to push through with that. If they can double giant, get into the enemy core and get those giants hitting the enemy core, putting pressure down, then I would be okay with it because they'll have a sizable amount of extra damage that the enemy team will really have to respond to. But they don't have Abathur clone up for a little while. They still don't have mosh pit for about 60 seconds. So these giants are just actually going to get obliterated before they even get anywhere near any buildings. And they might be able to take another Dragonite if they do this appropriately, but because Tassadar ran away from the bottom shrine, not going to be able to even posture for it, won't be able to pick up the Dragonite. And in order to get it, they might actually have to force a team fight.
Well, they have the Knights available here. They're going to clean up the enemy Knights in the top lane, and that looks like Tassadar might be shifting forward. Abathur can actually do a surprising amount of work on Giants. You'd be surprised at how much those Locusts do, and these Giants, or these Knights, excuse me, are going to fall quite rapidly. We see all the members here just cleaning up the bottom lane. They have to worry about those catapults. They want to keep this lane pushed back as far as they can, and Double Bribe going down from the Falstad on the offensive Giants, which is a really nice pickup that's going to keep this bottom lane pressured pretty hard. Or, not pressured, but you know, when they have catapults to worry about, it's going to help them out quite a bit.
Yeah. And we do see Abathur doing, you know, his Locust thing, spawning his 3, setting them down top lane. So they should be able to, even if they don't do anything else, they should be able to get that top keep within the next 2 to 3 minutes, as long as Blue Fox keeps playing the way that he is. They'll probably clear, what'll probably happen is they'll clear these knights up top, and then they'll completely abandon the lane. If Blue Fox recognizes this, he'll burrow up to top lane, throw down a set of...
He can actually mosh pit here to try to guarantee this Dragon Knight, and he's not going to do that. It's good. He actually did end up burning it. But still, they guarantee the Dragon Knight, which is really nice because at this point in the game, they're almost level 20. This will guarantee them level 20. They really can just go in here on this keep, and this top keep is being pressured by Knights, and it's very low.
I honestly would rather see them just go for
straight to core?
Yeah. Like, Dragon Knight, double Odin. It's going to be really hard for them to stop it. There's no point in clearing out every single keep. Like, just go for core and win game.
Yeah, especially with the level 20 advantage, you have the double big red button on the Odin available. I heard one Odin. There's one.
Abathur doesn't get it.
Abathur did. Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot that's the thing. So yes, that level 20 talent doesn't go. So you got the one big red button. You got the 2 Odin. Dragon Knight has fallen, but you know what? They don't need him. Archon is up and ready. The triple Emerald Wind. They just keep running into it. Kind of questionable play to just walk into the Emerald Wind because it does a sizable amount of damage. And this is actually going to be just a clean victory here for dISSENT to continue the series forward.
Yeah, I mean that's it. So they sort of went for face, but they just did it in a slow way. I'll count it.
Hey, it worked out. It worked out well. You know, just decisive play and a really nice. The Abathur play was really good across the board. I mean, I'd say all of dISSENT played well. It was a good game, but 11-1 kills in favor of dISSENT. They almost never died. I'm not sure who their one death was, but I can actually check on the screen here. We can see 11-1, the one death being Faker Fangirl on Brightwing in that game. All right, guys, we're gonna throw to a quick commercial. That's not what I wanted to do. While we prepare for the next game, guys, we're going to have some water, use the restroom. You guys can get a snack, and we will be right back. Huh? Just going to give a quick shout out while we're actually in our break here, setting things up, to Diana Bond, giving my first ever donation here on Twitch. Thank you very much. That's awesome, guys. Really appreciate it. Again, we're just going to be setting up for game number 4 here. We'll be back in just a moment. All right, guys, we are back here with Champion of New Maelstrom, and we're going to be going into game number 4 between dISSENT and Team ORZ. We just rejuvenated a little bit, got some water, danced around, stood up. It's when did we start? New? 12:30?
12:30ish, yeah.
Yeah, so we're like 5.5 hours in. Well, yeah, very good, very good. Well, the action continues as we go into the draft here. Now, again, the draft is pre-made. All these games are being cast from replays, and we just like to be able to pull up the draft, bang through it, as we do have quite a few games to cast here today. Now, we're going to actually Tycho ban, not a big surprise, but dISSENT opting to ban Zeratul once again. I mentioned game 1, Zeratul did a lot of work. They banned him last game, it worked for him, doing it again.
It's interesting to me most that they're running Illidan for a second time. It worked for them, ORZ, it worked. It worked last time. And this is a similar comp from what it was before. But not having the extra CC might end up being a little bit iffy for Illidan. Where they have 2 CCs right now, but they don't have a third, like, really strong CC. And Uther being picked last, literally dead last, is extremely strange.
It blows my mind. They were just kind of like probably looking at the list here and just like, well, Uther's available. He's okay. Let's get him. Like, what?
Yeah, I don't know what the deal with that is.
You know what? It's cool. We're seeing Abathur again. It worked out really well. Blue Fox's Abathur
really
seems rock solid.
Because they had Tychus too, though.
That's a very good point, but at the same time, double Strafe or double Arthas, they're both 2 huge options.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I mean, that gives them the flexibility of going for the damage or the extra sustain in the front line. So I'd say both of those are really good picks. But again, the Illidan pick is really weird because I think that, especially when you have both Shock and Awe and Storm and Archon, it seems like Maw is like, Zagara is like the obvious pick to me. Like,
yeah,
why not get Zagara with Maw?
I don't think it seems like a lot of Asian teams don't play Zagara.
Interesting.
And they don't, and that's not really that far-fetched because for America, we didn't play Zagara for a long time while EU did. Like, we were playing
I was against that curve. I have been a Zagara supporter since day 1. I was level 10 Zagara so quick when she came out. Anyways, this isn't about me. This is about these teams. And
yeah, I mean, Europe used to play her a lot, and then they were like, hey, Diablo's bad. And then America was like, oh, wow, Diablo's actually kind of bad. So they stopped doing that, and they started playing a lot of Zagara, and now we have more Zagara picks than we do Diablo picks. Not that that's direct link or anything, but a lot of people have realized the worth of Ma and the sheer amount of damage that comes out of Zagara. So, I mean, I would like to see it more in this event, but we haven't, and maybe it's just teams not being ready for it, not being used to using that hero. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens, and we can just get into the game and see where we go.
I think we're both ready to roll here, so boom, bam, boom, press all the appropriate buttons to launch this game here, and fix the audio. Yeah. All right, we're ready to rock and roll here with game number 4 between dISSENT and Team ORZ. Now you can see ORZ is in the lead 2-0. Was supposed to be a best of 3 series. I guess latency was an issue, so they extended to a best of 5, and that's the reasoning behind that. And the games have been really good, and we're seeing good stuff, so I'm glad it's best of 5. At this point in time. Now, this is round 2. We've said this a few times, but I just want to keep reiterating for anybody that's just tuning in. We're probably only casting through round 2 today, as we don't actually have replays for round 3 or 4 yet. Now, granted, we will, of course, finish out the tournament at some point this week. Likely not tomorrow. I'm thinking Monday seems like the appropriate time when we will probably end up doing the semi and grand finals of this event. But these games are sick regardless, and there's $800 on the line for this tournament.
Yeah, so it's pretty hype.
Oh, it's really hype, man, and it's like Monday Night Football. We get Monday Night Esports here. Not that I watch football, I'll be honest. Anyways, we have 4 members of dISSENT here, or excuse me, Team ORZ here. The sides have stayed flipped, I guess, for this match. I'm used to looking at dISSENT as red, and we have 4 members here in the top lane. Now, Abathur, of course, counting as a member, and actually shifting down to the bottom lane, making sure his value is maximized. The cool thing about Brightwing Abathur is they have so much presence whenever they want it on the map.
Yeah, I mean, especially on this map where you only have to worry about 2 different lanes. Obviously, there's pluses and minuses to this. Like, you can't drop people away from lanes and then have Abathur just soak it for you. No, that's becoming a more and more common tactic where you either like 3 or 4 man rush a lane and you force the enemy team to respond to it, and then Abathur's like, well, I'll just jump in between lanes and get experience, and it'll be no big deal. So that's becoming common, but again, Haunted Mines, only 2 lanes. Can't really do that here, and it's hard to kind of deal with that. But Abathur, as you said, able to put down a lot of pressure all over the place, able to jump to people and help them do mercs if they want to do it, able to just, you know, stop any kind of aggression happening, whether it be an Illidan diving on someone, or if you want to be aggressive yourself and say Vala wants to 1v1 or 1.5v1 a Tassadar.
Yep,
So
it's
all
a
those
really
things
good
are
point.
options. Yeah.
And, you know, just both teams getting their respected giants. I like the timing better here for dISSENt, as those giants are going to be getting to lane as the mines are already open. The giants for Team ORZ have already been cleaned up, and we're going to see ORZ go in here in the bottom lane while dISSENt is entering in the top. Pretty much in the past game we saw on mines, and these guys already played on mines if I'm not mistaken, they just kind of spread out and they took the camps kind of spaced out. I think the reasoning why we're probably seeing mines again in the same series is the fact that it was initially supposed to be best of 3, so they probably reset the map pool, because typically you won't see the RNG map selection on this map twice in a row, I don't think.
Yeah, probably.
But we're not
wanted to replay.
Yeah, we're not the tournament admins, so I mean that's their call for sure. We're just casting the game here, and we have this big initiation here. We see that dISSENt is getting kind of cornered, and they're all going to try to exit here. Now Faker Fangirl is getting very low and will actually fall. Jexia also going to fall here. 2 kills for none, and this is a nice early start for Team ORZ.
Yep. And I mean, that's kind of the danger of having Abathur. While he is a great utility on other people, he's not an actual body in the fight. So automatically your focus is easier to do, because you don't have to worry about 5 people. You are, even if everyone on your team just A moves, no matter what, someone is going to be getting 2v1.
Yep, and pre-10 with Abathur is always rough. It always is.
It is for sure. It also depends upon your team composition. Like Abathur with the Zeratul makes things a lot less rough, because he can roam around, then when he pops up, he's just like a huge burst of damage. The Abathur Spike will hit you, as well as Singularity Spike, and then the Cleave. Like it's pretty scary. But without that, without any kind of like roaming ganker that's really well adjusted to Abathur, it's not going to do too much.
Well, like we said, with those giants being taken as the mines opened up, those giants took down this wall in its entirety. The knights are going to try to do a little bit of work, and the actual the fort here is actually completely out of ammo. But that's not the lane in which their golem is going to be pushing. The golem is going to go down the top lane, and it's 17 skulls versus 83 skulls, massively in favor of Team ORZ, and Team ORZ will be pushing with their golem, rightfully so. Now, we see the pressure here is just going to be going out. Look at the size of this thing. It is utterly massive. Probably the... Well, I mean, no, we've seen some 100 Skull Golems today, but the biggest one we've seen in this series, as far as I can remember, it's going to be stomping and thrashing and just wrecking havoc upon their base. They're going to do everything they can to just pressure with it and try to get the edge here, as this top golem will be falling to Falstad in just a matter of moments.
Yeah, I mean, so this is something we talked about a couple of times, right? Pushing with the golem, making it so the enemy team can't just really DPS. They have hit level 7, both teams are level 7, so they had like, what, maybe 2 seconds of talent
advantage. Yeah, there's very little advantage there. And Falstad's likely just going to be flying right on down. Here he comes. The golem's cleaned up. They have all 5 members to push with this golem that will fall any moment here. They actually grab Mule here. Interesting choice. It's not an uncommon pick here on Haunted Mines, but it's probably... Was that Abathur that grabbed Mule?
I'm going to guess yes. Let's see, Abathur does have Mule, correct.
Yes.
Tassadar on the other team also.
So we have Mule battles here.
We talked about this earlier, too.
I know. Okay.
No, I mean, early in the day, we talked about how Mule normally doesn't get picked up on this map.
Yeah, but it's...
Yeah.
I'm glad to see it picked.
Yeah, I mean, it sort of makes sense here because of the way that these teams play.
Mm-hmm.
They don't play, like, very, like, hyper-aggressive. They play aggressive, but they're not just like, oh my god, I'm going to go like, all in on this.
I wonder if the Mule was a reactionary pick. One team saw the other Mule be picked. I wonder if it was a reactionary thing. Saying, all right, you're going to get Mule? We'll get Mule too.
Possible, but normally it's decided ahead of time.
Yeah. Typically,
That's not one of the normal reactionary ones. I would
very
say.
true, but still, it's definitely
a thing.
in the realm of possibilities. Now we see Arthas is shifting up here. They do have the scouting drone, giving them a good amount of vision around here, even when they're not there. Scouting drone, another talent that's become more common in the picks here throughout the meta. Again, vision being a hugely important factor in any competitive game like this. We see just both teams just kind of positioning back. Look at this, all the ammo returned from this tower. That really helps fortify that wall quite a bit. Now their wall is in perfectly good shape and
pristine.
It's like brand new, just fresh out of the package. It smells like a brand new
Still in box
tower.
It's like a collector item.
Yes, very nice. Well, speaking of collector items, man, I can't wait for BlizzCon swag. Anyways, we have a pretty even match here going on, though. Equinox is going to see what he can get done in this bottom. Just kind of push back the Tassadar. And, oh my gosh, almost got the Caterpillar, but not going to be quite enough. He's actually going to tap well and hang out by his buddy Fairy Dragon there. Brightwing healing up, and he's pretty much topped off just like that. I like this early entrance to the mines. I think this is well done, but we're going to see these guys come down here in the top lane. They're all coming down from the Dissent side of things, coming down at once. They thought there might be a jump on them, so they sent in the Arthas first, followed by supports. Nicely done. But we actually have the engagement coming in here on the middle of the map. Now, Equinox has just made it in just in time for this engagement. Go Max is a little bit far forward compared to wants to be, but a nice route will keep him nice and safe. They can fall back here empty, trying to posture on the right side. They're trying to get some kind of surround. They're trying to flank while all 5 members of Dissent are just staying together. We do have a double Vala here, so there's a lot of DPS output on the side of Dissent. Now, the route's going to go down, and the I forgot the name, but Rain of Vengeance doing a just perfectly executed. The double Rain of Vengeance coming up from the Avatar clone here. Very nice, and the Polymorph plus Hammer will secure the kill. And actually, this is just beautifully done. The Tassadar will get out, and it is absolutely not worth chasing. And meanwhile, Illidan is just kind of pushing his luck here.
Well, I mean, they're at 45 skulls, so it's pretty okay. He should be able to get out if he
that was beautifully done. He is going to fall right quick. If they didn't get that route, yeah, that was a kill. I like the use of the scouting drone, just covering their flanks, making sure they know they're probably going to want to try to escape as soon as it's done. I think they'll probably hearth out, as we can see these knights are being taken here.
Yeah, they don't have to worry about too much. Now, what it looked like was going to happen there was ORZ made a great call. They went down bottom and they cleared the middle section, which means they left the skulls open for either side, whichever side Dissent was going to come into. If they saw whichever side they started taking, they could have collapsed on that area and really just blown them up. But Tassadar didn't come in. He just didn't enter the mines from top. He just kind of stayed up top. And then by the time he did come in, he was so separated from the team that it ended up basically backfiring the plan on them. And it really hurt ORZ right there. And I'm not sure if there was the breakdown in communication or what it was, but it definitely ended up badly for them just because of that.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it happen for sure. We have, like you said, the 55 skull golem difference versus 45. The size of the golem is astronomical. Now, we don't know how much this actually affects the power, but it's such a small difference in skulls that yet that golem seems to be just much, much larger. Having the advantage seems to be paying off here for Dissent as they are pressuring with this golem. Of course, they do have Brightwing and Abathur down in the bottom fighting that golem, seeing what they can do. The Illidan kind of being offensive here.
Yeah, I mean, I like that call, because there's probably not too much that you can really do against the top, but it doesn't matter, they're going to go in on it anyways.
Yes, a very nice Shockanaut tries to come down, but he actually gets stunned by the Divine Storm, canceling it out. It's going to be on a 10-second cooldown. Rain of Vengeance coming down on Malfair and will be enough to secure the kill. The root goes down. It's just going to lock Arthas on for a little while. Emerald win with the mass disengage. Equinox is able to get healed up a little bit by Uther. Falstad is down. Shockanaut will not be able to be used, even though it's probably off cooldown at this point. And a Rain of Vengeance locking down 2 players, but it won't be enough to get a kill. This golem still has 20% of its health left, so they can just continue on pushing in, and I like it. Discard this little baby golem that will die at their wall. Not going to get a lot done. They can knock this wall down entirely and see if they can do any damage to the keep, but they probably should back up here.
Yeah, I would say backing up here is probably the right call. They did a great job pushing through with that. Pretty much everything they did was on point with what it was supposed to be.
A big metamorphosis initiation, yeah.
I'm not too sure I agree with it, but if Jexia separates too far, then Illidan should be able to run it down.
The sprint will secure a get out here. There's no chance of them catching. And actually, I like this. Equinox actually took the Giants and is just backing up. Now, they have to get Caterpillar out of here. They have to rotate down. We see Jexia and everyone is rotating down. Brightwing coming around in. Is Emerald Wind ready? Is that do we have Emerald Wind?
We do have Emerald
Wind. Divine Storm goes down, so Emerald Wind. Yeah, she is
actually
saving
out of mana right now, so not going to actually.
You're right. That would be exactly why we're not seeing it. And, you know, just a nice get out, not losing a single member here. And they have those Giants pushing this bottom tower. And if they don't fall back to clean those up, now we see Tassadar is actually rotating back. It would actually clean up that tower pretty quick. Caterpillar was actually hanging out in the mines. Did he?
No, he was the start of that fight, and he got out by jumping in the mines.
Yes, that is correct. That is correct.
So really well played by him to get out of there safely.
Yeah, those Giants almost managed to get this tower here on the bottom half of the map, but not going to be quite enough.
So now where do they go? Do they just wait for mines? That's the plan, right?
I mean, that's a good question. I mean, Knights won't be up for another full minute. They took those Giants on the right side of the map, and then we just got these Giants here on the left side of the map. So really nice job by dISSENT here. Really just they have the level advantage, they have the mercenary advantage, and Mines will be up in just 25 seconds here. The Mule is down, doing what it can to heal up the bottom fort, and they're probably just going to rotate down into the Mines when able.
Yeah, I mean, we got 10 seconds on Mines. Everybody should have their ults up, which looks like we are only missing Shock and Awe. So that'll be up likely by the time that a big fight pops up. It should be up. We're missing it by 10 seconds. So at about the 12:35 mark, it'll be back up. And yeah, by the time that they meet each other, it should be okay.
Yep, well, I mean, both teams going into different entrances. That's become more and more common as we've been seeing teams ambush the opposing team as they try to enter the mines lately. Now, the nice stun going down, but Bella Baby's going to back up here. Growth should all be off cooldown at this point in time, and they'll be going down any moment now. Shock and Awe goes down. Archon is down. Caterpillar in the front lines, able to soak up a ton of damage. Rain of Vengeance getting a lot of value, zoning, forcing them into the wall, and the Archon can just keep chipping away at them. Rain of Vengeance again, having the double Rain of Vengeance play is very nice. Bella Baby is going to fall right here, and this just four for nothing. I mean, that's nothing else you can say. A huge win, extending their lead, another level up more or less. And they can just pressure and get a 85 skull golem.
Yeah, I mean with level 16 with an 85 skull golem, I don't see any reason why they can't just leave mines and go win right after this. Like none of them are even really low. If they conserve mana while they're in mines, they don't have to really use spells or anything to get through this. If they just conserve, go meet the golem right now, completely ignore knights, and push down that top keep, they'll be in a fantastic position. So,
like you said, if they just hearth back, they restore their mana and immediately push up their golem, I think that is the best case scenario. Disregard the knights. 100% agree with this. This guy is going to be a monstrosity pushing at their doorstep. This wall is already down, but we see them actually at least checking out the Knights here. Now the Knights are going to go in favor of Team ORZ. Right wing coming on in here onto Jexia. So they have the sustain, they have the initiation, but Tassadar is going to back up. They're just going to clean up the Knights, and they should just go to the golem as soon as they burn these two Knights down.
Yeah, I mean that's it. That's what we were talking about. They waited a little bit longer than I'd like. Knights probably wouldn't have done all that much, but it's not going to cost them really anything. And let's see, we do have every ult in the game off cooldown, so this could be it. This could actually be a game.
Yeah, we should see the Abathur clone coming down here any moment now. We need the double Vala ready to just dish out as much damage as they can. I'm not too sure what the Abathur is waiting for, but still the initiation is there. The Emerald Wind goes down to help finish down the fort. Kind of preemptive. There's the Vala, and we have a lot of push available here. A few members of Team ORZ have gone into their base to just kind of top off a little bit here, but the Golem is doing work on their core. The Rain of Vengeance goes down. Great zoning, double Rain of Vengeance. Can't really get a lot done. Shock of Awe misses everything, and they can actually just turn, go straight on the core here, and expecte the core down to victory.
Nope,
I like to misuse that term as much as I can, and this is going to go to Game 5, ladies and gentlemen. Well played by dISSENT, bringing this series back to our... Actually, in my casting career, this is the first best of 5 that's gone to Game 5, period. in my casting career. Now, this is my third event casting, so my career is not necessarily a long one, but we're actually going to set up our next game and hop into it as soon as possible here.
Yeah, I mean, that game as a whole was really well executed by dISSENt, but part of me wants to say that it was due in part to the Illidan not being able to be really effective. He didn't do anywhere near what he did last time. He didn't really put down the hurt like he did. He didn't even... It felt like they didn't even care. They just like, they saw him and they're like, oh, Illidan. I guess we'll just, walk away. And it felt like a lot of their fights just weren't on point. And now the question comes, do they ban Abathur? Is that going to happen?
I mean, ever since they started picking up Abathur, it's been doing a lot of work for them. That is without a doubt the case here that we've been seeing in these games. Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I guess we'll find out in the ban here. We're going to be hopping into that in just a second, making sure all my other graphics are good, happy, and ready to roll. And yes, they are good. So let's look at the ban. No
Abathur.
Tychus.
Interesting.
But once again, dISSENt, looking at game one, they've banned out, they took Zeratul away, lost, but then they said, all right, let's ban him twice. It's worked out well for him. Why, if it isn't broken, why fix it? They banned him a third game in a row here. They got Abathur as well. Don't know if Team ORZ knows how to play Abathur. They went with some pretty safe picks here. I mean, Arthas, always a very safe first pick. Brightwing, again, first pick. They're really liking the Emerald Wind. Now, anyone that uses Emerald Wind is after my heart because I've always been a big fan of Emerald Wind, and I've been saying that for years now. It feels like on Town Hall that it's an amazing ability. When people told me it was just about blank heal, but no, we're seeing a lot of Emerald Wind use all day today here in this tournament, and just overall these compositions.
I mean, ORZ's composition is like a million times better. I would say. Like it's flexible, it's a lot of CC, it's multiple types of CC, it's got silences, it's got roots, it's got stuns, it's got snares, like it's got everything. It has high damage, it has everything you would want in a flexible group. And we're going to Garden, so it's got False Ed, which is great for moving around the map, for stalling out anything that Abathur's trying to do. Like their comp as a whole is so good. So it's going to be very interesting to me to see if they manage to somehow not take out an early lead here. Just because I don't see the way that Abathur is going to affect... I mean, granted, this is a very large map. So if they do decide to pull people around the map and they try to pull members of ORZ away from their designated lanes because of Abathur, then yes, maybe the Abathur will become extremely worth it. But really, it's just about not getting picked by Stitches. Not like if you see Oracle, probably just walk away. Like I know it's gonna be sometimes it'll be a bluff, but in most cases, play it safe is better than going too aggressive. If you see the Oracle on you and you don't know where Stitches is, just assume that he's there, walk away, don't get picked, and just kind of play the game at your own pace. If they get anyone on that team, if they choose any single person to go in on with a judgment, I don't think there's any reason that they should stay alive.
Well, I mean, I think one thing that we're definitely going to see out of this is I actually think we're going to see the clone on Raynor. I think we're going to see double Raynor Raiders, and we think we're going to see Putrid Bile and Executioner. With Bile and Executioner, there's a good amount of synergy and a lot of power they can just plow through. I don't really see Gorge being as good as Bile in this. dISSENt seems to be playing the game a little bit differently than most teams. This composition is working out well for them, and I'm excited to see how they run it. And you know what? Without further ado, I just think we should jump right on in to the game as we have it loaded and ready for battle here. So guys, this is going to be game number 5 of round 2 here at Champion of New Maelstrom between dISSENt and Team ORZ. And we can see right on here that we do in fact have our players for Team ORZ on the right and dISSENt here on the left, as in the blue trunks, if you will. That was always what Total Biscuit would say. I'm watching StarCraft 2.
It's still strange to me that Abathur's brain just has bits of cranium chilling in it.
Hey man, You got to do what you got to do. Not all Skelethers are the prettiest Skelethers, but he's pretty. I like his little Locust, though. Now, his Locusts don't actually spawn till the game starts. I never noticed that.
Yeah, that's why a lot of Abathurs will actually tunnel at the beginning of the game, because it'll force the Locust to spawn farther ahead.
That makes a lot of sense. Well, we can see nothing super cheeky is going to happen here. All the members are kind of well spread out. I mean, we do see Team ORZ relatively close together. They're just making sure that nobody's in here. I don't know if they're going to go for that hyper aggression they did in the early 2 games. We see, this is a large map. You want to make sure you're ready and able to soak as much XP as possible. And we're going to see Equinox and Bella Baby just kind of trade some blows, back off, and just do what they want to do. But Caterpillar could go for a huge hook. So this is what we're going to watch for here. The slam goes down, showing himself. I actually wish he would just kind of wait, try to get that sick hook, because it's not a guaranteed kill, but if Raynor can shift up and get behind and knock you back, you can get a lot done. We actually see the hook actually win in there on the Arthas player, but it's not going to be enough to secure a kill.
Yeah, I mean, they're looking around the map. They're trying to get some kind of just pressure down. I don't know if they're looking for kills immediately, but they're just trying to make it so that the Abathur pick is worth it, but they feel like they can't immediately go in on everything. Jexia actually throwing that shift there a little bit early, but it'll be alright because they stack CCs on their top of each other instead of spreading them apart.
If they spread those apart, that was likely a kill, but that hook on Malfurion is actually really huge. Abathur coming here on the Stitch is going to help try to pressure down this Malfurion, but it will not be enough. The Storms go over the wall, but it's not going to be enough to take them down, and these guys are just continuing to trade blows in the bottom lane.
Yeah, Raynor should, for the most part, be able to trade pretty well with the Vala. Vala will take a little early lead just because of how easy she can harass people with abilities. Raynor obviously only has his one. He has Inspire, but he also only has one piercing shot, so he won't be able to do too much range damage right away to her, so she'll be able to trade pretty well. I like this call where they're just like, okay, you know what, they're getting top seeds, we have to clear bottom, we have to stay as on par with them as possible and then try to get ahead. And it's really, for me, about making dISSENT feel like they're not comfortable. Like right now, if you feel comfortable, okay, that's a good way to start.
That's a really nice pickup, that's for sure. You're not going to feel comfortable if you lose your Raynor in the bottom lane. The hook goes out, but no dice. A nice, I mean, Bella Baby not going with the obvious route into the bush, stepping down, juking the hook. Well played, because if the hook went on, it could have cost him his life. And like you said, 30-30 seeds, an even split here on the map at this point in the game.
Yeah. So we're looking at the game now, right? And we have level 5 on each side. The Garden Terrors are still sitting in the middle, and no Mercs have really been. Actually, there's one set of Mercs being started right now. So Vala might actually be in a dangerous situation. She did just get pulled. Looks like she's gonna tumble away, so she'll be alright. So now we have ORZ. You know, they're doing their thing. They're trying to put a lot of pressure down, and this is, in my opinion, the right call. But it needs to be more. When you're dealing with an Abathur, you need as much pressure on the map as possible. Like, you need people running around. You need one of two things. You need people running around and either taking Merc camps, or you need to be hard pushing a lane and forcing people to respond to it. And they're sort of doing like the in between of that. They're not going hard for Mercs, and they're not really going hard for pushing, but they have some pushing going on. And they are trying to take this bottom terror now. Whether or not it'll work or not, I'm not sure. And for whatever reason, if you stand in the bush, it'll target you.
Yeah, it's one of those weird
things. The AI
things.
on it is very strange, and it does some very weird things. But they will be able to get this, and they'll be able to get pretty close to, I think it'll be 80 seeds, I believe. I think it's 50 seeds per...
Wow. That was a very nice play by Gemini.
He did get hooked, though, so he died.
He did get... Wow, I missed that completely. I actually just thought he'd be good and happy. He made a nice play, but it didn't matter. Yeah, the Stitches hook was going to be real there. I failed you all. I failed you all.
It happened.
The sick hooks were missed.
Equinox now
Equinox,
gonna get immediately.
He's going to get dumpstered here.
Yeah.
Yep, he's going in the garbage bin. And
so this is the point where you don't leave that lane. You push. You push that lane into the wall. But instead, they get the kill and they just turn around and walk away. It's like you need to do something with this. You can't just leave it and gonna walk away.
Well, Gemini coming in here, he's got some buddies on the way as well, but Caterpillar and Figure Fangirl are just going to back on up, soak their lanes respectively. All 3 lanes are being soaked by both teams. Experience is pretty dead even. Both teams about to hit level 9. Now these knights are available to be taken by Team ORZ, and it seems to be that's the way they're going to go with it for the moment. We can see Raynor rotating up to these top giants here, and just, you know, everyone's just kind of falling back at 90 dead even count with the seeds.
Yeah, I mean they're looking around the map trying to figure out what's like the big thing that they can do. Is Knights gonna help them push through? Like, how can they force this Abathur to not be maximum effectiveness? But right now they're staying even, but in my opinion, staying even with an Abathur pre-level 10 is not staying even. You are effectively just not doing enough to push the game at the appropriate speed. Now that's a good idea.
That's a delay. It's a delay.
Well,
he tried to get the bait.
The hook didn't really do anything. But the picking up of this, if they can get it before, then as we see, everyone's kind of
rotating up. They are rotating up. They're going to try to go in here. They nice hook goes there on the Arthas. Now they're going to be able to get the giants for sure. The Gorge goes down on Arthas. The Emerald Wind forcing the Malfurion in there in this circle. It's just the perfect place. Emerald Wind, absolutely beautiful. Rainer's Ritters come down. Tyrael has fallen. Falstad is running back, and Arthas is going to keep delaying them for a little while, but he will definitely be falling in this scenario. I mean, those Army of the Dead charges will allow him to stay alive longer than he should be able to, but he's going to keep them busy while the rest of his allies fall back, go back to base, and heal up. But that was a big win. Again, Emerald Wind being used very well. I mean, that just ensured that Malfurion could do nothing in that whole fight, really.
Yep. Now that the play on the Giants was a good play if they got it quicker.
That's why the hook was big, because it delayed them long enough.
The hook wouldn't have done anything. The fact was that Falstad just stayed up top for the entire part of it, and then once Arthas got hooked, Falstad started flying it. But at that point, it was already too late. There was really nothing they could do about it. And
oh my goodness, this Malfurion is in a tough spot. The Q is going to come in here for Raynor. It's going to be just enough. Beautifully done. And yes, we have the Arthas player having to rotate back. These offensive giants will be taken. Oracle goes down to make sure that they are perfectly good condition to take these giants, and they will have no contest whatsoever. We see the Vala play is rotating back to make sure they don't do a lot of work, but still the experience has been gained here for dISSENT, and they have the 1 level lead.
Yeah, I mean, dISSENT they have control of the game now, and they have to keep pushing it. So even though they have Abathur, they have the ability to get these picks. We've seen it. They've demonstrated it in this game already. They have the ability to get the pick, and if they can take that ability, put it forward, push onto a keep or something like that, force the enemy to defend, and then get the pick there, that's unbelievably important. I heard the hook. It didn't hit anything. That's all right.
Yep. No dice on the hook, and this Vala player should be safe since hook is on cooldown. We have 4 players here for dISSENT looking for something to happen. Again, Abathur soaking the top lane as he should be, and the Abathur is getting a lot of value right now. I wonder what the experience gained is for the Abathur, but it's always very high. Not super relevant, though, at this point in the game. Now we have the night phase has come, and both teams will be going for their plant terrors. We see it's growing on both sides of the map, and it'll be interesting to see who they choose to go in. Now, personally, I really like to have Stitches, and I just want to point out we thought we might see Bile. We mentioned that, but we did in fact see Gorge. Pretty interesting stuff. So we're not going to see that crazy executioner build, but you can still get slow on the slam. We do have this initiation happening here, as the seed count is in favor of dISSENT, as they've got all the seeds from that big guy right there. And it looks like Figure Fangirl is going to be the one taking the plant terror. She can always Emerald Win and then phase shift to get out. It's a pretty safe disengage, but if you get stunned right after, you'll be in a bad spot.
Yeah. But I mean, it already has a built-in knockback, so knockback plus Emerald Win should be able to save you from anything once the Garden Terror breaks.
Especially with Pixie Dust for the increased move speed to get out of there. But we can actually see the Terror has grown for both teams, but there's 78 more seeds ready for the next seed in favor of dISSENT. So that's a big advantage. And oh my goodness, the hook gorge on Falstad is beautiful. Falstad is going to be in a very tight spot. He tries to go over the wall, but it's not going to be enough. The judgment comes down on Raynor, but Raynor is right next to his wall. He's going to back right up. We see the Abathur Raynor Raiders coming down for Raynor. And I just said Raynor like 10 times. It's okay. We got 4 Banshees running in here, chasing this Plant Terror, and they want to push with this. They want to do as much damage as possible. Tyrael, he's going to get out of here. Vala, she has to get out of here. And this fort, it's dust at this point in the game.
Yeah. The Brightwing poly at the beginning of that fight onto Falstad after he got out of the gorge is really nice because it stopped any kind of counter engage that was going to happen. The shock and awe got completely negated, and I don't think I've ever seen this many shock and awes or any ultimate abilities that can be actually canceled by a stun happen in one day.
And
we've
constantly,
seen at least 1 or 2 every game.
Pretty much meaning the level of play is on point.
Yeah, I mean they're playing really cleanly. It's one of 2 things: they're either playing really cleanly, or the people launching the abilities are just launching them from a very unsafe position. So it's a little bit of both.
Yeah,
but I would rather give credit towards the clean play than the
absolutely.
play.
And we see this Plant Terror's got 1 second left. It's going to dissipate, but there's 150 seeds ready to roll. So whenever the next Terror grows, they just have it ready for action. They're going to grab their Knights on this side of the map. Looks like these Giants are going to be spawning right here, so they're going to be grabbed in favor of Team ORZ. And you know what? 3 level advantage is nothing to scoff because it's a big lead. We have these top Giants pushing ahead. This Mule is just getting excellent value on the top lane. This top wall is at perfect condition. It's just pristine, and even their middle wall is still up. I'm actually surprised the Mule wasn't used here. You get a lot more value.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been a good play, and it looks like we see people circling around to do something with Knights up top. It looks like they're trying to get a pick. The Brightwing might be teleported outside of the... Okay, that's...
The bribes come down.
Early, but it's going to be alright.
It's going to be just fine, yep. And we see the Plant Terror is ready for a descent, but it doesn't look like anybody's falling back just yet. The Abathur will almost definitely not go into the Plant Terror. We actually just saw Brightwing has once again hearthed back in order to grab it. Now, we see Team ORZ floating up here to clean up these Knights. We have Vala in the bottom lane, just making sure to try to keep that tower alive. It will fall, though, but XP is going to be soaked either way. And again, Plant Terror, 50 seats still up, and they have 1 additional terror on their enemies, with Giants pushing as well. So this is a power play, 3 levels ahead, talent advantage. They can push, and if they can take a team fight here, there's a very strong chance they can end the game. Hook goes out, no dice.
I mean, if this Plant Terror is allowed to break the wall, and then Stitches gets even 1 like decent hook through there, it's going to be very, very scary.
Yes, nice positioning on the little flower that comes down here because it can be destroyed by your enemy, so he put it right behind him. And the hook goes down, the gorge is in. That is 1 dead player. Now Vala will fall. That would be Arthas falling as well. Shock and Awe comes out, but not doing that much damage. Raiders are going to be wrecking havoc here. We have wreaking havoc here. And we just have a lot of damage on this keep. It's going to fall for sure as well. Caterpillar.
Yeah, this should be it. We have
I mean,
4 people down.
There's nothing else to say. There's nothing else to say.
That was it.
It's a clean initiation, and dISSENt takes this from a 2-0 to bringing it back, winning 3 games in a row, winning the series 3-2, advancing really to the semifinals here in this tournament
against SMG. Right? That sounds right. Am I right?
Well, SMG hasn't played their game yet.
Oh, right. I was thinking that they would. I'm running my tournament. And,
yes. That Kings of the Storm, they just advanced.
Going.
I see. So Symbiote just advanced.
But yeah, so we're going to their game next. That's what it is.
Yes,
so
we're playing
seeing
SMG. Well next.
So if SMG wins, then they'll be playing against dISSENt.
Yes, but what we have coming up next is, in fact, Symbiote Gaming versus Team No Limit. Yes. And again, I've mentioned this like 2 or 3 times already. Team No Limit is that Korean powerhouse StarCraft 2 players. I'm a StarCraft 2 nerd, so I'm like really excited to see these guys play.
Yeah.
But we're gonna run to a quick bumper break. I'm gonna coin that bumper break, and grab some water before as we prep the graphics for this next game. Guys, thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for watching today, and we'll be back in just a couple minutes.